بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وأصحابه وما والاه بعد. Good evening, my listeners, my viewers, and good evening to you all. In our today class on SWAP Academic, we are going to be dealing with physics practical. This physics practical will be mainly on for those people preparing for Waec, this upcoming Waec, and it will also be useful to A-level students, 100 level, ND students, and many more. Because irrespective of your courses or of your area of field, once you get to the 100 level, once you get to ND1, you are going to do all this. You are going to what? You are going to do all this. So you plot graph. As much as you are a science what? A science student, you have to do physics. You do so many things. Even those at polytechnic students, you are going to do all this on mechanics, on heat energy, on many more of that. So let's quickly commence the today class. Now, these are all what we are going to talk about. Outline. Now, first thing that we do, first step is identification of graph. Identification of graph. In physics, how many graphs do we have? Then how can we identify them? What is the symbol that you are going to see for you to know that this graph is so graph? This graph is so graph. Because a question might come in that identify the plotted graph. How are you going to know that? We are going to look into that. Another one is how to plot a standard Waec graph. It has a scale. How can you meet up with the scale? Because this particular topic that we are discussing actually costs 50 marks. As far as Waec is concerned, you have to plot two graphs. First one will be 25 marks. The second one will also be 25 marks. So once you have your 50 mark fully loaded, so you are good to go. You will just read little on the objective part and the theory part. Then with allegories, everything becomes simple. So in nutshell, on this, so we are going to third part, calculation on how to get a number line. We have what we know as number line. How can we determine that? What is even the usefulness of number line? When we get to that area, we will talk more on that. Then slope on the graph plotted. The graph that we plotted. The graph that we plot, how can we determine the what? The slope. The graph that we plotted, how can we what? Determine the slope. When we get to that bridge, we are going to cross it. So now let's quickly pick this one. As you are following me, don't forget to subscribe, like, share to the needies. Some are at your neighboring environment that are in need of this. Try and share to them for them to also what? Prepare themselves ahead against the upcoming 2025 Waec. So please follow me. Pay attention, then you will get it. The class will be very interesting. Now, identification of graph. Put it in mind that we have two ways of identifying graph. Let me pick that. Two ways of what? Identifying physics practical graph. As far as physics is concerned, quote and unquote. One, we have a positive graph. And secondly, we have a what? A negative what? A negative graph. What is even a positive graph and what is even a negative graph? These are the two graphs that we have. How can we identify a positive graph and how can we identify a negative graph? When we say a positive graph, we are simply saying a graph whereby the plotted what? The plotted graph touches the vertical axis and the what? On the horizontal axis. I will tell you what the vertical axis is, what an horizontal axis is when we get to this second stage. So now, when this, let me even explain it like this. This we consider two parts in plotting of graph. You get a Waec standard graph, I mean the big one, and check there is something of this in that Waec graph, something of this, something of this. When you count these lines, there are 10. So now this particular line, this straight line, is drawn vertically. We call it vertical axis. That is what I mean. While this second one is drawn horizontally, we call it what? Horizontal axis. There are another synonymous word. This is y-axis. Why this is what? S-axis. Are we together? Now, if this is y-axis, known as vertical what? Vertical axis. And if this is x-axis, known as what? Horizontal axis. Now, how can we relate it to what? Relate it to what? Positive graph. How can we relate it to what? Negative graph. A graph there, whereas when you plot it and the line, what you plotted, lies from this angle, it goes like this. Without touching this, we call this particular graph, we call it what? We call it positive graph. We call it positive graph. And that means when we have to, even if they ask at exam, that define the time positive graph is a graph whereas the line traveled in a straight way. It traveled in a straight way without touching the vertical axis and the what? Touching this point, and without touching this point, horizontal axis. That is what I mean. It starts from what? Is zero what? Everything, you know, everything begins from is zero origin. This is zero to the numbers. This is zero to the number. This type of graph, if you have this in exam, this upcoming exam, you plot a graph and it's lining like this, down like this, we call it positive graph. Let's quickly move, because we have a long way to go. We have, and what? We have a what? A horizontal, we have a negative what? Negative graph. How can we get a negative graph? It's when we have this is vertical axis. This is what? This horizontal axis. These are the two things that we consider. And we have the graph that we plotted touches this and touches this. What I mean is it goes like this. We call this graph, we call it negative graph. A graph, so let's define a negative graph. A graph where what you plotted is touching both the axis of the what? Y-axis, which is the vertical axis, and the what? Horizontal axis. When it's touching it like this, we call this graph, we call it negative what? Negative graph. Are we together? Now, if this is negative graph, that is how we identify identification of graph. Negative and what? Positive graph. Let's quickly move. Let's erase this. Since we have gotten that, I believe we have taken that. Let's erase that. Let's go to the second what? Second area. Now the second area is how to plot a standard what? A standard Waec graph. How can we plot that? Now, some people or a large number of students, they plot graphs anyhow they like. They do a copycat. Whatever they put as the reading, when we get to that side, I will tell you what the reading is. They will just copy everything and they will come and place it inside the graph. And they will start saying, this is to this, this is, that's how would you do that? How to plot a what? A standard graph. Know that first thing that must come to your mind, since we are already, you will find a straight ruler, a plain one. Don't use that of wooden one. A plain one, a plastic one, calibrated with a what? With a measurement from 0 centimeter down, upward is 0, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter. It is either it is calibrated in centimeter or what? Millimeter. Anyhow you call it. So now when you get that plain and plastic what? Plastic ruler, the first thing, get your graph. Waec standard graph. This is a graph. This is a what? This is a what? Is a graph. This is a Waec standard graph. You can see how it is. Now, this is where we want to plot our what? All our readings there. This is where we want to plot what? All our what? All our reading. Now, you won't start from this origin. You start from this. Starting from this, you will now draw a straight line. From here, you draw a straight line like this. After you draw a straight line like this, now you won't start from here again. You will start from this. You will draw another straight line like this. Then you put an arc here, put another arrow here. Now that means this line that you are seeing. But you will use a what? Don't use a blunt pencil. You will use a very sharp pencil, and don't tick. You don't tick. These are the clues that you're supposed to know. So when you draw it, you start from. You won't do this. You start from here. You have drawn your vertical axis. You start from here. You draw your horizontal axis. After doing that, then what follows? You have to find your readings. The readings, I'll bring it out now. We are going to assume that we have a reading. It depends on the graph that we are doing. So you will now find what? Note that in this graph, let's count. This is zero origin to down upward. This here is zero origin to down place there. Now, when we are having that, let me have pencil. That means this. If this is 0, 0, that means 0 starts like this. Another one start like this. Note that if you start, that means once I draw something of this, let me bring one graph that is being plotted already. You can see this one now is your vertical axis. This one now is your horizontal axis. Where do we start? You don't start from here. You don't start from the line of what? On the line of horizontal axis. You start from the second line. Now that means how many bus is that? You can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You start from the second line here. You won't count this one. You start from the. So how many buses is that? It is what? It is 10 buses. And know that in 10 buses, that means each bus here. Let me still count another one. See, you won't start from this thick line. You start from this tiny line. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is another one. So now 10 in north condition of plotting a physics graph is that 10 buses as we are counting it. Note that if this is vertical axis, if this is horizontal axis. Now if this is the buses and there are 10 like this, you won't start from here. That's what I'm saying. You will start from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now let's assume if this is a graph now, we have to do this. Now note that from here to here, it is 10 boxes, Abi. 10 boxes equals to 2 centimeters in physics. 10 boxes make what? 2 centimeters. That means if I have a 10 here, I will tell you when we start using the reading. And I have a 20 here. That means from this 10 to 20, how many boxes is there? 10 boxes. Represent 2 centimeters. So, cause I need it. Please try and note this down. Note what? Nota bene. Note this down. 10 boxes represent what? 2 centimeters. If one of your friends that is sitting beside you decided not to use 10 boxes, he decided to match another 10 boxes with this already one. That means he's going to start from 10. We start from here. These are another boxes. Let's say now this is 10. 10 plus 10 will give us what? 20. That means he's starting from here. So when he's starting from here now, this will be, it has matched what? It matched both 10 boxes here together. It becomes what? 20 boxes. And that 20 boxes now represent how many? 20 boxes represent what? 4 centimeters. So please take note of that. We are going to use it. Now, if your friend decided not to use 10, he decided to start with another 10, add another 10, making how many buses? 30 buses. That means we have what? 30 buses. Will give us what now? You just the difference of 2. It will be what? 6 centimeters. We need that. On both the what? The vertical axis and both the what? Horizontal axis. Hope you have gotten this. Now, since you have gotten that, the next thing to do is you will note that whatever we have what we know as, note in normal mathematics, let me bring it like that, normal small graph, 5 or 6 represent what? That is the question of the day. I mean the play away question. 5 or 6 represent how many now? Please drop your comment on the section it. How many 5 buses now will be represent what? 5 buses will represent how many? That is point of view that I need you to also answer for me. If you are truly following me. So that's one. Let's keep that. Now we are under how to plot a what? Plot a standard what? Standard graph. Now, in nutshell, since we have gotten how to get 2 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 6 centimeter, and many more. Now, let's try and bring out a reading. Let's formulate a reading. Know that we have different practical physics practical class. We have that of optics and what? Wave. We have that of mechanics. We have that of what? Electricity and more. So let's just bring one. Since it's just how to plot graph. In our next video, we are going to be explaining what is optics, what is electricity, and many more of them. So now, what is that? We have this is vertical, this is horizontal, and we know that from here to here is 10, which is 2 centimeter. This is from here to here making 20 bars, which is 4 centimeter. That's what I explained, up to downward. That means from our graph now, you can see this has already been, you see, we started from what? This is 1 to this is 2 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 6 centimeter, what? 8 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 12 centimeter, 14 centimeter, 16 centimeter, 18, 20, 22. That means for a standard Y graph, it was how many centimeter? 20 what? 22 centimeter. But so please try and note that. So now in nutshell is that after we have gotten this, what are we going to? My advice is when you are doing Waec, those people that are preparing for this, always start with 2 centimeter. I will urge you, you will just start with, maybe I'll put 5 here. It's based on my reading. Start with 2 centimeter. That means when I put 5 here, we have what we know as, we have discussed centimeter. Now let's go to unit. We have what we know as unit. This to here is 2 centimeter. I wrote what? 5 here. That means 5 here now is unit. Now there's one space here. Whereas they put what here? They put y-axis. Note that I told you earlier, y-axis means what? Y-axis means what? Vertical axis. X-axis means what? Horizontal axis, which is vertical, horizontal. On that y-axis, what do we put here? We put 5. In how many buses? 10 buses, representing 2 centimeter. That's what they want you to write here. So use your pencil or your biro. Now, you will now say on the y-axis, if it is 5 that you start with, you will now say 2 centimeter. Since the 5 begin from 16, 2 centimeter represent what? 5 units on the what? On the vertical axis. So if it is 10 that you are using here, if this is 10, 20. Now, how many buses is that? The same thing applicable. 10 buses, which is also 2 centimeter. You will still say on the x-axis, 2 centimeter represent what? 10 units. That is how you. It is compulsory that you must fill in this. Now, graph of what are we going to put here? So these are little things that the marker, the examiner is going to look into. Once you are omitting this, they will be reducing the what? The mark. Now, graph of what? Maybe assuming we are doing moments, and we have something of this. We have in that moment we have maybe let's just assume that normally you do the real practical, but now let's just do assuming you have through with the real practical, the readings. I told you that we have what we know as readings. We have through with the real practical. Now, firstly, in order to do a very standard table, because that is the table that we are going to use to plot the standard graph, you must start with what? Serial what? Number. S stand for serial, N stand for number. Now, secondly, maybe it is mass against what? Against T that you are given. I mean mass, M-A-S-S. Now you put what? Kilogram here. That is the fundamental unit. Here you put what? Seconds here. Now you match it like this. Now maybe the readings, the setup, the instruction is you must do it from 1 to 5. Are we together? Now, or 1 to 4. So you will start from serial number means 1, 2, 3. You will start from 1.00, 2.00, 3.00, 4.00. Now, so when you are now having this, note that how many decimal places is this? 2, 2, 2, 2. So when you want to complete this table, everything must be equal. Everything must be in 2 decimal places. You mustn't leave one in 1 decimal place, other one in 3 decimal place. You must, everything must be rhymed. Meaning, maybe I'm now having 10 here, 10.00. Let's assume. I'm having 20.00 here. I'm having what? 30.00 here. I'm having what? 40.00 here. How many decimal places is this? Also 2 decimal places. The same thing applicable. You can see everything must be right. Now maybe I'm having 20.00 here. This is 30. No, let me make it like, okay, let's just put 30.00 or 40.00. Here, let's put what? Let's put 50.00. Let's put here 60.00. Or let's make it 80.00. Make this what? 60.00. Now you see everything is right. That is our what? Reading. This is a standard way. Or you put it in 3 decimal places. And maximally 3 or 2. I urge you to do that. After getting this reading, now the next thing is to interpret the reading on this. How do we interpret that? Note that the student who made a mistake, they will just copy this. No, and the question we said, plot M, this is mass, against T. Note that when you say plot M, when they say plot M against T, meaning our M will be on vertical axis, our T will be on the horizontal axis. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Meaning, I'll just go straight like this, put M here, and put kilogram here. Here, I'll come here, put T, put seconds here. That is the standard unit. So M against T. What comes first will be on the vertical. What is against something will be on the horizontal. Now, some students do made something, a silly mistake. This is 2 centimeters now, is 0.0. This. They will just bring this, they will copy this directly, they will come and put it here. By 10, 20, 30, they will do it like that. It is wrong. You have to determine your what? Your number line. You have to determine your readings. You don't use a reading that it is the same thing with this. The examiner will believe that you're copying this. How are you going to? Just check. In order to form a reading here, check here which one is the highest, which one is the lowest. 10 is the lowest, 40 is the highest. You now formulate a reading here. How do we formulate a reading here? You can start. Don't start exactly like this. You can put 5 here. You put what? You can put what? You can put 5 here. See. You put 5 here. You put what? 10 here. You put what? 15. Whatever you start with, you will just be plussing it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. But don't stop. You know you are getting 40. You won't stop at exactly 40. You will do it even if we don't need this. You prolong it up to this point. 40, 45, 50. Then you stop here. Don't write anything here. So the same thing, you formulate a reading here. Know that this reading now we start from 5. It is a bit different from this exactly something here. The same thing, you do the same thing. Find the lowest and the highest. Then you formulate. Now let's see this already plotted down. What do we start with? This is 20. We start with what? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and what? 80. Are we together? Meaning you will just do like this. We start with 5 here, or down to the what? 50. You won't stop at exactly this. So even if you are done with this, we start what? This is 20. We start from what? With 10 plus another 10, 20, up to you get 80 and many more. So after that, the next thing is how to what? Calculation on how to get your number line. What is even a number line? Meaning, what do we start with here? 5. What do we start with what here? What do we start with that? Sorry for that. What do we start with? We start with 5 here. Is that not? Sorry for that. No, what do we start with what here? This is what we are having. This is what we are having. Is that not? So, we have what? Already we have 5.00 here. We have 10.00 here. We have 15.00 here. We have what? 20.00 here. Down. So we have what here? We have 10.00. We have here, we have what? 20.00. We have here, we have 30 rather, 0.00 up to when we get 80. Now, if you're having that 30, we have what? 40.00. We have 50.00. We have what? 60.00. Is it going to take it? If you know that it's not going to take it like that, let's check if it's going to take it. So 50, 60, downward. We have what? 70.00. We have what? 80.00. This is where it's going to stop. And the next thing is, this is 20. Let's extend it. This will be what? This will be 30.00. This will be what? This will be 25. Sorry, we start with 5. 25.00. What follows? We have 30.00. Up to, if we are extending, it's because of the ball. It will be what? 40.00. Up to down. Sorry for that. It's because of the ball that we are. After you have getting this. Now, each line like this. Each line like this. Let's count. You won't count from this original where we put number here. You start from the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's add 8, 9, 10. Sorry. This will be your 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The original one. You will still count up till you get 10 here. So the same thing here. Already, this is what we are having now. After we are having this, you don't just say 10 matches this. This matches no. Now you determine your what? Number line. How do I determine our number line? Is you get your standard calculator. So now this is 0. You know this now will be this our line now will be what? 0, 0. That is the origin. Now this is another line up to 10. How many buses is this? As we stated earlier, it is 10. You will just say 5 divided by this, the first unit. Divide this by 10. 5 divided by 10, I know, I trust you on that. It is what? It's 0.5. That means each line, each second line, start from the second line. This there is 0.5, 0.5, 0. What? Now, try it. If this line, first line, before, after this thick one, if the first line is 0.5, add it to, maybe you are now looking for 11. Maybe 11 is there in our reading. You are looking for 11. You just be plusing 5. You state your original one, 5.00 plus. You know we will get 11 from where? Sorry, from 10. This is the space that we are going to get 11. You will now pick 10. 10. I want to tell you how to use a number line. Plus. So we have gotten our number line. This is what we call number line. The calculation of number. You just pick. We are looking for 11 now. Assuming if 11 is there. You know, it is hidden here. We have to find it out. How do we find it? That is the area bone of contention. Now, we find it within 10 to 15. Now, where? Will you just pick one? No. This, with the help of this number line, you get that. Just pick your 10, original 10 here. Plus what? Is 0.5 to it. This is what? 10.5. You will now be counting it. Oh, 1. How many naira have you used? 1. You still plus until you get 11. Is 0.5. 2. Have we gotten 11? Yeah. So that means at number 1, 2. This will be our 11. Are we together? You will now come and match it with this. The same thing, that is how you do this as well. So you draw like this, you draw. Let's find the number line for this. The number line for this is the highest. This is, we have put our readings here. Now, what are we going to tell me now? What to do now is the same thing as you do. What is the first unit? 10.00. 10 divided by 10 on this one. 10 what? 10 divided by 10. You don't, it's not, I'm just teaching you. You don't put all this, how to get number line. You put it inside Waec. You just put it at the, this is how I can get my number. 10 divided by 10, automatically it is what? 1. 1.00. That means, if I'm looking here now, if I'm looking for 21, here, assuming 21 is there, it is within what? 20 to 30. So each line now is 1. Just be adding 1. 1 to 20, it will be 21. If it is 22 and many more, that is how. Now, after getting your number line, what comes? The whole are very simple now. All you need to do, just be matching them. What do we get here? 10. Luckily, you found 10 here without using number line. So, all you need to do, 10 to what? 20. That is 10 against 20. You just come. This is 10. Against what? 20. This is 20. Let's assume that this is graph. You will just do like this. Or, you use this symbol. Or, you can use dot here. Dot like this. So, you clean this up. Now, what follows? 20 to 40. M is 20. This is, it is 20 to 40. 20 to 40 will be what? That means, luckily, without using number line, we get 20. The graph is very lucky. You come here to what? 40. Luckily, without using 1.0, we get that. But there are some cases, the reason I teach you number line, there are some cases that all this, you are lucky here. All this, the reading that you put here might be different from this. You make use of the number line. That is just it. So this is 40 to 20, have it. This, now, you do like this. You put your symbol here. I will later clean this. So what follows? 30 to 60. Where is 30? Can we still find 30 here? This is 30. 30 to what? 60. Where is 60? This is 60. That means, let me clean this up. Let's just do, let's stop at number 3. 32. Let me clean this up. 30 to 60. Note that. 30 to 60. 30 to what? 30 to 60. Where is 30? This is 30. To what? To what? 60. This is 60. Please don't make a mistake. You put what? Your dot. May I do prefer dot? Because you can easily, the examiner will know that the dot is not, the line is not really touching the what? The something. So now, maybe up to 4. So, but the body is not that. There is a, let's stop like this. Know that another thing is, now you pick your beautiful ruler, which is the plastic one. You match it. You match it up. So this is, you can see the graph is going like this. Can you tell me what type of graph is that? Mariam, tell me what type of graph is that now?
Positive.
Positive graph. I love that. What type of graph is this?
Positive graph.
Positive graph. I love that. You are really following me. So this is what? Positive graph. So now you find a very, the ruler that is not broken, a complete one. Because if you have a ruler that is broken, if you want to match this, you will do one, you will still do another one. It will be something like this. It is wrong. The thing must be what? Wait. So it will now be what? Let's match it together. You will match it like this. Well, now let's assume that when we match it, when we match this is this to 20 to 30, something of the, like everything. This is 3. Note that maximally, when you match it, it must touch at least 2 or 3. It doesn't touch 1. If it is touching 1, you are not really doing it. So it will now be like this. You match it like this. But don't just stop at where it's touching. You can match it up to this level. So when you match it, what follows? This is, we have plotted the graph. Now what follows is determine the slope. How? When you want to determine the slope, now it's picking how many? Pick 1 here. You pick 2 or 1 here, making 2. You will now do something like this. Do something like this now. Now form a right angle triangle here. By finding the same ruler that I use, match it up to this. Sorry for that. Match it up like this. Now put a something here. You can make this A. You can make this B. You can make this one C. Note where it's touching. It's touching here. Always start your right angle triangle to come at all. So there are some people, they made a mistake. They will come like this. They will now match it in the middle without anything here. It's not that right. So once you have this now, how? We are doing this right angle triangle in order to get our what? Slope. So which will now be, you will now form here. In order to get the slope, it will be change. Slope equals to what? Change in M, all of the what? Change in T. Now change in M, when we say change in, that means from initial to final. Final will come first, then followed by the what? Initial. Those people that are doing physics. Let's assume that we have, that means S now will be what? M2 minus what? M1. Always put your what? Kilogram. It is mass. All upon T2 minus what? T1. Put your seconds. Are we together? Now, how can we get M2? How can we get M1? Now, this one, you will just form a broken line like this. You will find where it's touching. It's touching what? Assuming it's touching 25. No, it's touching, sorry. This should be touching 30. Yeah. If you are following it, it will be touching 30. This will be your what? You come here, put your M2 here. Now, this now is touching what? 10. This will be your what? M1. Now, T2 is touching what? You come here like this, you will do like this. It's touching what? It's touching what? 20. Is that not? It's touching 20. When it's touching 20 like this, so that will be our what? T1. Why this now? This one is not having any dot, but you start from that. It's touching what here? 60. You note that. So from like this straight, it's touching, and you must be using broken line. You won't draw a complete line like this. So therefore, this will be our T2. This will be our T1. Now let's substitute in our parameter here now. Let's assume we substitute our parameter. What are we going to? It will be, what is our M2? Mariam, our M2 will be what? 30 now. S equals to 30 minus, but note that everything must be in 2 decimal places, whatever is that. Minus what? What is our M2? 10.00. All must be in 2 decimal places. All upon, what is our this? 60.00. Minus, what is our this? 20.00. Now, what follows? 30 minus 10 will give you what? 20.00. Now, this minus this will give you 40.00. Now, 0 settles this settles this. What? 2 here, 1, 2 here, 2. It will be 1 all upon 2. S equals to this. 1 upon 2, you can put 0, 0 here. Since everything is this. 1.0 divided by 2.0 will give what? Is 0.5. But this is how many decimal places? 1. Add another 0. 2. Because examiner, they are looking into that. So, this is our what? Final answer. Now, note that, don't forget your what? Unit. This is what? In kilogram. Is that not? This is in what? Seconds. It will now be what? Let's form that. How can it will be kilogram? This is divide per seconds. Always know that the units are what? Very essential. And note, this is 0.5. In graph, it is not likely you get, all you people that you are plotting, you must get 0.5. Once someone is getting 0.49 and someone gets 0.5, they are still saying the same thing. 0.51, they are still the same thing. So the interval must be 1, 2. That is it. You won't get the same answer, but they will mark it. That is the way of doing that. So please, if you are still having more issue on this, let me know. Drop it on the comment notes. So please subscribe, share to the needies, like, and drop your comment. I still remain my humble self, Akodede Oluwayinka, assigned at Sub Academic online class. So please subscribe in order to know more about our next video. So thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay blessed, more blessing.